Hello everyone, this is Zooc and today I'm bringing you a new drawing / painting video. This one is going to be a mad scientist and his pet dog, I guess you could call it. It's really a mutated Zergling-like creature in his laboratory and is posing for the camera with his little pet on a table, smiling and very happy. And is this just a little experiment that I did last night? Just thought of an idea to draw, and this time I proceeded differently with the whole process. I sketched it out on the computer. Did the outlines in Manga Studio because it's easier with the pen pressure than with felt tip pens. Then printed it out, inked it by hand because it's just better flowing, I think. Scanned it back in, applied a texture behind it, like rough paper, as you'll see later on, and then just a little splash of color. Wasn't even within the lines or anything, just to give it an extra level. Really, nothing spectacular, but yeah, it's fun mixing media once in a while, not just sticking to one thing. So what else has been happening? Well, still busy with work, going to the gym, all that. I made a major life change. I decided to switch to a predominantly Mediterranean diet. I think that's kind of the way to go, because for the past few years, and this is something that's very common with my generation and younger generations, I've barely touched actual vegetables. And by vegetables, I don't mean potato or like the occasional tomato. I mean like actual garden variety vegetables, because you don't really get that if you go out or if you order in. I mean, sure, you got tomato sauce on your pizza or maybe a coleslaw with your fried chicken, but you know, let's be honest here, that doesn't really count almost at all. So I've been reading a lot about the nutrition of Middle Eastern and Mediterranean peoples. You know, they're very heavy on the vegetables. You know, they have a very long lifespan. They're very healthy at an older age. Very few heart problems. So, you know, with the consumption of olive oil and just a lot of eggplants, zucchini, stuff that you don't eat on a daily basis, a lot of whole grains, even though I still don't really believe in the benefits of whole grains, but let's throw them in there anyway, just for the sake of it. But stuff like lentils, you know, all sorts of variety of beans, salads, a lot of salads, and natural cheeses and non-processed products, you know, just goat cheeses and feta and everything. And lots of fish, you know, that's something else that you don't really have in a continental country, even though we have access to the Black Sea, but you can never find fresh fish here. Everything is frozen, and it's kind of nasty. Once in a while, you get the occasional carp or bass, but that's about it. So yeah, they're pretty healthy and they're pretty thin. Like, you rarely see a fat Lebanese or Turk or something like that. They're all pretty fit, and they eat a lot of very healthy stuff. So I think it's probably a good idea to try it out. Thing is, over here, what we do with vegetables, usually you put them in a stew, you boil them, you fry them as or what was the Gollum line? You boil them, fry them, stick them in a stew, something like that. And that's about it. And that's kind of boring. You know, a lot of the the Mediterranean people, they grill their vegetables, they roast them, then use a sauce on them. They spice it up. They make it much more interesting. So it's definitely more variety to their diet than if I were to apply Romanian cuisine to a variety of vegetables. It turns out pretty boring. So yeah, just saying, it's kind of a big life change because I've never been too big on vegetables. I love junk food. You know, I'm not afraid to admit it. It's bad. I know it's bad. I'm fully aware it's absolutely horrible. But in the end, you know, I'm a sucker for pleasure. Yeah, I'm a hedonist. That's what you call it. It's a person that constantly seeks out gratification and pleasure, and junk food, unfortunately, does offer that pleasure. Like, you can't eat a salad and say, oh my god, this is the best shit I've ever had. It's not going to happen. It's always going to be second best to a big bucket of fried chicken and potato chips or fries or whatever the hell, you know, cornbread, all that good stuff. I love that sort of shit, but it's bad. It's very bad for you. So I'm in a dilemma, but at least I'm taking steps in the right way. I think it's a good start. You know, I didn't try. I was on the keto diet for a while, and it does work. But I think that, you know, like Lebanese food, Arab food, Turkish food is a pretty good way to eat healthy without being on a diet. because the concept of dieting is just stressful. Like, I'll go to the gym, I'll cut down on sugars. I can go forever without eating any candies or any sweets. But there's just certain things that I will miss too much, like cheese or the occasional beans or something like that. And I think it's a pretty good way to incorporate that and not be stressed out about it. So yeah, a lot of talking about food. I'm sorry, I hijacked the entire video. Something interesting that I read the other day: Pope Francis apparently is vehemently against legalizing marijuana, and I thought it was rather stupid that a person with such a massive influence, unfortunately, would come out and give his opinion on a topic that he is probably not that informed on, I would imagine. I don't really think that he gets his daily news with the medical research and the uses of marijuana in patients and whatnot. I'm pretty sure that that's not part of his morning routine. Just eating a croissant, having a coffee, and reading about benefits of marijuana. But I got slightly pissed off when reading that article, because it happened before that a person with a lot of influence in a certain area comes out and says, we shouldn't do this. And then everyone says, yes, you're right, because you are the connection to God on earth. Like, that makes no sense. Why would you say that? Just stick to your own area of expertise, if you can even call it that, and leave that to other people, like doctors or the government, maybe. People that can actually take an active interest in it and find out if indeed it's good or not. I know it's good. I've read about it. These studies exist, but apparently Pope Francis doesn't feel like Googling before coming out in the Vatican and saying, we shouldn't do it. Ban everything. No drugs. It's a sin. That was the argument, really. They are sinful. Okay, they are sinful. Let's just leave it at that. So yeah, that's a little tidbit of my week. So I'm just gonna leave it here. Rambled long enough. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Just a little fun experiment, nothing major, and I'll see you guys for my next one. Bye bye.